Steve here. I was thinking of a friend of mine who has a YouTube channel, and he says something like, intuitive. And I think, because we got a couple swords, so this is going to be a tarot reading. We got a couple swords, and I'll tell you right off the bat, however far we are into this, 47 seconds into this, that when I pulled the cards, I had the thought that this is going to be rough. But I don't go back on my cards. I mean, if these are the cards I get, I just accept them. I just buck up and just be a human and just take my medicine. So if this feels like some medicine to you, I didn't even need to read the page when I got the card. So here's what we start with. I'm going to hold it up here for a minute once I get it in the proper location. And it's a 7 of Cups. And sevens can be challenging numbers. In the 13 tones of the Mayan calendar, 7 is the connecting of the first 6 and the last 6 tones. 7 is between them. 7 is yeah, sevens. I'm going to show you what I need to do here briefly, and I just don't like to make more videos, so I'm just going to do it right here, and I'm going to hit focus, do not disturb. So now there won't be things dinging. There's a little message comes up on the computer that your do not disturb is on, and then all I have to do is remember to turn it off afterwards. But I've been doing better with taking my brain function mushrooms. All right, so I showed you the card, the 7 of Cups. The word is debauch. And so if that brings up any meaning to you, then just look at the meaning that term debauch brings up. And then I'm going to read to you the meaning that the people, who put this book together gave to this card. 7 of Cups is debauch or emotional indulgence. So this is what we have been working with, formerly called the past, and of course it is the past if we have been working with it. So the card I pulled for what we've been working with is emotional indulgence. And I'm going to immediately interject in this because the next words I begin to read talks about exactly what Carl Gustav Jung, or Jung, however you say his last name, the psychoanalyst. In his book, Man and His Symbols, he was talking about people who think they're masters of their soul. And he said, if you're a master of your soul, that means you have clear communication between your conscious and your unconscious minds. They just are one, really. You just give them different names because they're different aspects of the one mind. He says you won't be moody. If you're in that communication, you'll be receiving the messages from the unconscious, recording them in your conscious mind. You'll be living a very functional, balanced life. So this card represents the state of emotional depression and moods. And again, I'm going to keep digressing throughout this because I'm working with these energies. So when I say it's a world field, and I'm going to just say that wearing this thing, and I refuse to wear the other one that communicates without a cord. I don't know if this is better, but I think it's better than having my computer and phone just yapping at each other, which I'm sure they do, and then they store all the things they say to each other on the iCloud. But as usual, I digress. But I'm going to keep this under 36 minutes because that's a long time to wait to watch it before I publish it public. And it takes a long time to upload a 36-minute video. I can tell you because I made quite a few of them. Okay. Seven of Cups is often a picture of our emotional addictions or indulgences. Do you ever feel like you indulge in your emotions? I know I never have, but I know people. I think I made an hour and 9-minute video on releasing intense, triggering emotions, and I videotaped it. Somehow I spliced two together too, which made it confusing at the end, but because I went from wearing like a hoodie to wearing a flannel shirt, and all of a sudden it was like, what just happened? But that's the magic of film. Okay. Seven of Cups offers a picture of our emotional addictions or indulgences. Whenever we are depressed, it reflects what it is that we will reach for to make ourselves feel better. Which I'm just now mildly overeaten. I had a meal. It was fine. It was on the larger end of quantity, but just not excessive. The excessive came when I remembered I had those gluten-free cookies that I had made in the freezer. And when I got them out, I decided, 3 seems like a balanced number. It's a triangle. So I put 3 cookies on a plate and I ate them. And then I picked the cards. I wish I'd picked the cards prior to eating those 3 cookies. Maybe I wouldn't be talking about my indulgences. So we'll reach what it is that we will reach for to make ourselves feel better, whether it's overeating, over shopping, over drinking, smoking, drug usage, or sexual promiscuity. This symbol reflects a tendency to indulge in moods or wallow in negative emotional reactions and responses or emotional memories of the past. Just cleared that one too, by the way. I mean, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I can still use it because some of you will remember seeing that video. Debauch is a tendency of feeling sorry for yourself or indulging in being a martyr or a victim. Saint Stephen, first martyr for Christ in around 85 AD. And who knows, kept a record of that. But anyway, Saint Stephen, martyr or victim. Not that I've spent my life in victim consciousness, because I feel like I'm not in it right now, so I haven't spent my life in it. But up until not too many years ago, I pretty much spent my life in victim consciousness. That's why I'm rubbing my chest, the panic, the anxiety, the heart pain, blah, blah, blah. So I'm doing a demo to help go along with the notes. I'm not just personally feeling like, ooh, this is painful. It's painful for me. And hopefully you can just stand outside and watch me in pain and not go into pain yourself. I recommend it. Okay, the Seven of Cups represents a destructive way of coping with depression or issues that one does not want to face by indulging in patterns that involve excessive behavior. Whenever you pull this card, it indicates that in the next 7 months, or in the next 7 weeks, or the next 7 months, you're willing to move through indulgence or addictive patterns. So that's possible. Now my cat, who's sitting right by the side here, licking off the crumbs left over from my cookies, because we've been cutting down on her food just for a few days because she's been seemingly having a little bladder difficulty for the first time in really a couple of years. We've got her on this great stuff called urinary gold. And you know, if it's gold, it's expensive. But anyway, a couple drops of that in her food has seemed to just keep her urinary system functioning at a high level, which is really nice for people who have cats to have their urine function, because otherwise it's not so fun. Okay, so 7 of cops. I've been doing all these Freudian things. 7 of cops. Debauchery, overindulgence in emotions. I plead guilty. I do. Especially over the past few weeks, I would say that I've had somewhat of an emotional overindulgence. Okay, so moving on to what we're currently working with, we got the 4 of Swords. I don't know how you say the word sword. I always try to put the W in there. Maybe there's a way of saying it without a W, but there is a W there, and my brain wants to say sword, and it comes out funny in my own hearing, maybe in yours as well. Okay, so what is the 4 of Swords? 4 of Swords is the negotiating mind, the conflict resolution mind, or the mediating mind. Swords are about the mind. It's about the mental aspects. In order for any kind of negotiation to be successful, one must be open and flexible, like the sign Jupiter at the top of this card. Oh, I didn't show it. There it is. 4 of Swords, Truce card. Sign of Jupiter at the top of the card, and the sign is something else at the bottom of the card that I'll be telling you in a minute. Sign of Jupiter at the top of the card, and committed to staying in balance and non-positional, which is represented by the sign of Libra at the bottom of this card. The truce making process is a fourfold process, which is represented by the 4 swords and also the 4 tiers of the lotus blossom flower. The fourfold process is truce that's experienced on all 4 levels of consciousness, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, which is also represented by the integrating of 4 swords into the 4 tiers of the lotus blossom. Truce is an opportunity to move through conflictual issues, which is represented by all the webbing in the background of the card and the states of complexity that need to be resolved. In order for negotiation or conflict resolution to be successful, there are 4 peaceful principles that come from native traditions, which is referred to as the fourfold way. In order for truce to be experienced, one must first show up. Second, pay attention. Third, tell the truth. All 4 agreements. Fourth, not be attached to outcomes. Pretty powerful words. Results are renewal and regeneration, which is symbolized here by the yellow and green flowers on the card, representing regeneration and renewal from a deep spiritual place. And that is now. So now we're involved in negotiations of the truth on a world level, which means each of us is doing this work individually inside ourself, so it shows up outside ourself in our world. We wish to be in balance internally and externally. If we keep trying to shave the mirror, nothing comes off the face. It just comes off the mirror. Maybe the dust that had gathered on the mirror. We need to do the work here. It pains me to say it. even though it's what I do. It pains me to say it anyway. We need to do the work here, here, here. Doesn't it look like I have little bunny ears on top of my head? Not to be distracting from the pain. Addictive bunny ears. Oh, little crown. So cute. Light coming in. We're beings of light. But we're on earth for some reason. Is being on earth a punishment that we've given ourselves? Because if we create our own reality, we chose to come here. And if we feel like we're being punished by being here, who's punishing who? Okay, that's current. What these things will lead to, so it's the Four of Swords, they're going to lead to the Eight of Swords, which is twice the Four of Swords. Hopefully not twice as uncomfortable. That one caused me to have a fair amount of pain in my chest, just talking about it. Okay, so what this will lead to, hopefully, is the clearing of the doubting, non-trusting, over-analytical mind. Basically, it's the mind that is considered either two options, two issues, two situations, or two people, and then going back and forth on which would be the better option or the better choice. Whenever you pull this card, it's a reminder that when you are in states of doubt or confusion or interference, that is a time to wait. It's not a time to act. The Eight of Swords represents that somehow in the next 8 weeks or the next 8 months, there will be more clarity. The work to be done at this time is to trust and wait rather than to overanalyze for purposes of attempting to control situations or for purposes of overanalyzing things to such a degree that it creates doubt, confusion, and interference. This symbol can also represent that in the next 8 weeks or the next 8 months, there will be more clarity. And it's important that when there is not clarity, that one waits rather than acts until that clarity reveals itself. The Eight of Swords also represents that you may be considering ways of how you can bring two issues or situations or people together to create a greater whole, rather than feeling that you need to make a choice between two issues, situations, or people. Eight of Swords may also indicate that there could be choices surrounding Gemini people in your life. The Adjustment card is valuable. Things go back to when you were 8 years old, blah, blah, blah. The astrological aspect of this symbol is Jupiter and Gemini. Jupiter is the planet that requires that we grow and expand and weigh different possibilities or options, which is Gemini. During this time, it's important to consider different options and to wait on making decisions if you are experiencing doubt or confusion. This is a time to do the work here, to let go of our conflicting natures, to let go of the conflict between opposing parts of ourself, and let them communicate, hear what everyone inside has to say, and to listen to them with compassion and curiosity. If there's a feeling that things need to change, be present, listen, speak truth, communicate, and change. Okay, it's been very good for me. It was pretty efficient timing. It'll make my work a lot less in terms of bringing this to a close. It was still 20 minutes. Well, now let's go.